Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the new trailer of The Matrix Resurrections, a film that reloads the Matrix trilogy with a fourth film that blue pills us back into the simulation with manipulative nostalgia that makes us all ask, Rubber Ducky, are you the one, or am I? That's right, I'm starting at the ground floor of the rabbit hole, because the Matrix series is what started my obsession with film philosophy as a child, too young probably to watch that movie in 1999. So now I have been waiting to break this trailer down frame by frame for all the clues and interesting details that you might have overlooked. By the way, if you like what we do here at New Rockstars, the best way to support us is by checking out some of our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. We got limited edition shirts for Marvel's What If and a Shang-Chi Great Protector shirt, as well as a brand new adorable Morris Stay in the Pocket design. Check them all out at newrockstarsmerch.com, and here we go.
Thomas? Oh, can you tell me what happened?
I've had dreams that weren't just dreams.
We open on Sunrise in San Francisco. Now, this exact house is on Vallejo Street in Russian Hill, which I only know because me and my fiance are apartment hunting in SF, and we would rather red pill and eat tasty wheat goop than pay rent this damn high. Anyway, notice how the signature Matrix green tinting has been removed from all this imagery, and that's because Matrix Revolutions ended with the deja vu cat trotting over to Sati, and the greenness faded away as the Matrix rebooted, replaced with Sati's golden sunrise for Neo on a 7th iteration of the Matrix, in which the machines and the humans had brokered a peace, thanks to Neo sacrificing himself to rid the Matrix of the Agent Smith virus. And now this new version is supposed to give humans a choice whether or not to be enslaved, tasty wheat or cipher meat. I want that meat. In this 7th Matrix, now I say 7th because we learned from the architect in the end of the Matrix Reloaded that the Neo we had been following is actually the 6th incarnation of the anomaly. So now this is the 7th Matrix that we now find ourselves in, which you could see as a biblical 7th day of creation, the true beginning. And Neo has long been interpreted as a Christ figure, in death outstretching his arms in a Christ pose. And now with a title like Resurrection, we could be seeing a form of Christ's second coming. Truly every detail in this trailer is designed to stoke deja vu in the viewer. The opening sound is a distorted chime, evoking what Neo heard when he saw DeJour's white rabbit tattoo, and when he bent the spoon. Showing how here we are already going down the rabbit hole into a bent reality. And the first word of the trailer is Neo being called this.
Thomas?
And of course, Neo seeing the deja vu cat, with the same meow it gave when Neo saw it in the first film. Of course, the deja vu cat is a warning not to trust anything we see here, and that there is a glitch in this system. And I'm gonna break down how what we see in this trailer is not what meets the eye. Now, the Wachowskis have since confirmed that the Matrix trilogy was in part an allegory for gender identity. And when Agent Smith continued to call Neo Mr. Anderson, it was meant to be a deliberate, hostile misidentification. So the therapist saying, Thomas, you seem particularly triggered right now, should totally be seen with aggression. Now, the therapist, played by Neil Patrick Harris, wears blue framed glasses, and in his office there's a framed blue butterfly, a blue animal in that globe, probably all associated with the blue pills that he's probably the one prescribing to Neo, which of course in the first film was the pill that you would take to stay in the simulation. Therefore, this therapist could be a program in the Matrix, similar to the architect, designed to keep Neo on script. Contrastingly, later, Priyanka Chopra's character wears red framed glasses and reads Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass, perhaps connected with the red pill that would wake Neo up from the dream. I actually think she might be an adult version of Sati from Revolutions, and she could now be the oracle of this version of the Matrix. But also on the therapist's desk is a phrenology bust. That's the old pseudoscience in which people would measure bumps on the skull to predict mental traits that modern psychologists collect as decorative pieces, I guess, to show, look how far we've come. Now we just dope people senseless. I'm kidding. Therapy is actually very, very good and very necessary. But not from this therapist! Don't trust him! Neo describes his dreams that are more likely memories of his past lives as the Matrix's anomaly. He walks down a street of raining green code inside of a box that fades away the code into a normal wet street, showing how Neo sees both the simulated facade and the code underneath. Then we zoom in through a numerical 0, as we do in the opening imagery of the first film. Then we see a man whose eyes roll over with raining code, and then someone firing a gun, and then Neo reaching out to catch that bullet as it ripples through the air, matching that great production design from the first film. And then Neo's body is being plugged back up by the machine. Spider bots lasering cuts into the flesh, and notice his eyes are scarred shut. So yes, this is Neo after the events of Revolutions, when he was physically blinded and when he made that truce with machines. He did seem to die, but now it looks like the machines have restored his body and plugged him back into this 7th iteration of the Matrix. So it seems like this truce with machines involves the anomaly being reinserted and for this whole world to be crafted for him, as confirmed by the movie's official Twitter account, in order to keep Neo specifically from getting out and freeing the minds of too many of the humans who would now have more of a choice to do this. And so to make this happen, they wipe his memory, yet fragments of his memories are coming back in his dreams. And now the Matrix, to confront that, is trying to gaslight it all away with blue pills from Doogie Howser, MD. Now, it has been theorized in the past that the real world of the Matrix films, including Zion, the Desert, the Real, Machine City, could all be another layer of the simulation that the machines created to make some humans think that they had broken free of the code. People have used this theory to explain how Neo had powers in the real world. Now, I'm not so sure about that now that we're seeing Neo get reinserted here. And also because the architect explained how the machines accounted for 1% of the humans rebelling in the real world of Zion as part of that cycle. And I think it would be illogical for the architect to reveal that much, but not also reveal Zion being part of a simulation layer. It would also undercut the themes of determinism versus free will. Really, if you want endless ambiguous dream layers, there's Inception for that. I think the idea is that Neo, as the anomaly, just has a wireless connection with the Matrix, and that's what makes him so dangerous to the machines, and now necessitates him being kept inside the program like this. There's a shot of Yahya Abdul-Mateen II's character in a wet shootout with SWAT police, recalling the fire sprinklers and Morpheus' escape in the first film, and also Neo and Trinity's lobby shootout. Actually, later Yahya does the same crossed arm shooting that Neo did after he went through the metal detectors. Yahya actually confirmed that he is playing a version of Morpheus, which I will talk more about later. Then these two hands clasp together and glow. And then a quick shot of what looks like Trinity's arrest from the first movie's prologue. Similar hair, but whoever this is wears a slightly different black leather outfit with lacing going up the back. Interesting, why is this part of it? Well, the teasers on the promotional website showed more of the scene, and yeah, it goes down just like the film's version does. Trinity runs up the wall and it does that slow motion bullet time jump kick. These teasers actually showed lots of shots that appear to be recreated from the first film. Bullet casings raining from a helicopter from above, an agent rapid punching someone against a bathroom wall. I'm wondering if Matrix 7.0 might be cycling back through the events of the past films in order to justify Neo's dream memories as just part of a public narrative in this simulation. Because later in this trailer, we actually see a scene from the 1999 Matrix film projected on a screen in a room. So in this new program, the Matrix could have restaged the past cycle's revolution events as this world's movies and video games in order to confuse Neo to make him think that his dreams are fantasies based on the media he consumes and produces and not things that really happened. Kind of like how Cypher wanted to be reinserted into the Matrix this way.
I don't want to remember nothing. Nothing. You understand? And I want to be rich. You know, someone important. Like an actor.
Which I like to think is how Keanu and Joey Pants wake up every morning. Is this all a simulation? Is that why they wrote those lines for me in that movie? And yeah, it's gonna be real fun how this movie engages over imaginative viewers who believe movies like The Matrix and The Truman Show were made to make us see conspiracies that are really happening as just mere Hollywood fantasies. But I really do think we're looking at some Bean John Malkovich craziness happening in this movie, and that the IP we know as The Matrix exists in this simulation. Then we see a vast human gestation pod with a person sitting up. If you look closely, I assume that's Neo sitting up in the next shot. He seems to be waking up from the simulation briefly, but this pod faces another one, and it looks like these two have a private chamber as opposed to joining the rows and rows of millions of pods. Neo could be seeing Trinity's pod because both of them appear to be reinserted. Actually, there was another shot from that website Red Pill teaser showing two unplugged humans being attacked by Sentinels viciously, and the human on the right reaches out to the other. I wonder if these are Neo and Trinity freed in unplugging attempts since then, but they were caught in the act by Sentinels and then sequestered by the machines in this private chamber. Impossible to unplug through the traditional means. Then we see a quick shot of someone snapping, can't tell who, but there's that fancy ring, a cufflink and suit, and some women in the background. I'm wondering if this could be the Merovingian with Persephone behind him, because it seems like this Matrix 4 movie is bringing back everything from the trilogy. All right, let's move on.
Am I crazy?
We don't use that word in here.
Aha, crazy. We don't use that word in here. You can see how even that rattles Neo, as if his next question is, what other rules do you have in here? And what exactly are we in? And who is we? Is it you and the Deja Vu cat? Give me answers, cat! Now the music in this trailer is Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit, a perfect, if bit on the nose, extension of the Alice in Wonderland motif from the first film. Morpheus saying, I bet you feel a bit like Alice. And in the song, the lyrics come from the point of view of the stoned caterpillar, talking about the eat me cake and the drink me tea, but in this case, using the term pill, reimagining them as psychedelic drugs, as the Matrix does with the eye-opening red pill and the inhibiting blue pill. Neo sits in a bathtub with a rubber ducky on his head. This could be a reference to rubber duck debugging, coming from a story about a programmer who carried around a rubber duck, and as he debugged his code, line by line, he had to explain it to the duck. Neo in the first movie was a coder and a hacker, so this could be something he actually does. And on a metaphorical level, he is currently trying to debug the code of the Matrix that he is stuck in. Neo and Trinity shake hands in this coffee shop, and there's this little electric hum as they touch. Yes, literal sparks of recognition between them. Similar to how in Lost, the final season, everyone's favorite era of Lost, physical touch reminded partners that they knew each other in a parallel life. And remember, Neo's connection to Trinity is what differentiated him from the past anomalies. He chose differently, and so his anomalistic status might now be linked with Trinity. That's why they're sequestered together by the machines, why they're both reinserted and can't escape, and that only together they can break the confines of this reality. In the website teasers, Neo approaches a coffee shop called Simulate, another on-the-nose element that I actually thought might have been something in a video game based on his Matrix memories that Neo is now building. But here you can see that green Simulate sign behind Neo here, and yes, it is green because Matrix. Neo medicates with blue pills, which he takes a handful of at a time. Now in the website Blue Pill teaser, you can see on the prescription bottle label, it's addressed to Thomas Anderson, 1 pill taken daily, do not exceed. Well, broke that rule. And it's called ontolofloxacin, based on the term ontology, which is a branch of metaphysics that explores the nature of being. So yeah, this drug is literally subduing one's overreaching perception of reality. Now, you've heard us talk about how Helix mattresses are customized to fit your specific sleep needs. Well, Helix also makes awesome customized furniture through the company Allform. Allform lets you personalize a sofa using premium materials at a fraction of the cost of traditional stores. You pick a fabric, the color of the legs, sofa size, and shape to fit you and your home. If you invite some friends or family over to watch the latest episode of What If, don't make Uncle Rick sit on a folding chair. Allform has everything from armchairs to 8-seat sectionals. Uncle Rick will have tons of sitting options. New Rockstars editor John got a brown leather armchair and ottoman from Allform last year. He cannot stop yabbing about his super comfortable Allform chair.
That's a nice chair.
Allform sofas are delivered directly to your home with fast, free shipping. They'll get you your custom furniture in just 3 to 7 days, and you can assemble it yourself in a few minutes. No tools needed. You get 100 days to decide if you want to keep it, and if you do not love it, they'll pick it up for free and give you a full refund. They even offer a forever warranty. Literally forever. Like the third Batman movie. To find your perfect sofa, check out allform.com/newrockstars. And Allform is offering 20% off all orders for our audience at allform.com/newrockstars. The moment Neo takes the pills, one of his many mirror surfaces reflects him as an old man, which in a different mirror later in this trailer shows him as well. Here, that might be why Neo now stares bewildered at the mirror, and not because, as I do every time I look in a mirror, we see a little devil waving at us from inside our pupils. But why old Neo? Well, we know from the past films that mirrors are very important to the world of the Matrix. It's how a character expresses their true selves and how they transcend their realities. So maybe this is how Neo looks to others in this simulated reality. Or maybe it's how his older self would look like had he been allowed to age normally in the real world. Or perhaps we are seeing the original one, the OG anomaly who freed the humans from the first Matrix. But then we see a quick flash of Neo's eye opening in an all-white setting, looking similar to Neo's eyes opening when he first entered the construct for the first time. And then Neo outside looks up at some bird formation, seeing something irregular in the way that they flock, maybe perhaps feeling an instinct to take flight himself, but finding himself unable to do so. That could be why Yaya later offers him
Time to fly.
Neo's then in an elevator filled with employees glued to their devices, a way that the first Matrix film proved to be eerily prophetic for how modern society would, like Cypher, choose to be attached all the time to our digital simulated realities. Hold on a second. I love you. this actually could be another insidious way the 7th Matrix program manipulates humans in this world to stay plugged in by upgrading our technology to make us addicted to it. Could be a reason why our greatest technological advances of the past couple decades have shifted from things like the space race to consumer tech. And I guess in the past year shifted back to the space race, but like only billionaires can do it. Just kind of way of the program making us think it's attainable for us. It ain't. I really love this from below shot aimed at the mirror ceiling of the elevator, making Neo feel even more boxed in by technology. And the camera should be visible in shot between the two people with tablets, but they removed it digitally. A step up from one of the goofiest, but one of my favorite shots in the first Matrix, when they tried to hide the camera in the doorknob reflection practically with Morpheus's jacket. Then Neo back at his bathroom mirror with a handful of blue pills, way more than could possibly fit in that one bottle. He may have discovered a glitch that no matter how many blue pills he takes or he flushes, the one prescription keeps automatically refilling, which if you think about it, is kind of the way a lot of people in real life get overly medicated with automatically refilling prescriptions. Then Neo enters this Chinese restaurant, and folks, this blew my mind when I realized this, because this is actually my favorite restaurant in San Francisco, House of Nanking. I have been to it several times. Actually, lamely took a picture of this tea that you can get with a flower that blooms as you drink it. But if you live in San Francisco, please don't go there because the line gets long enough. Anyway, in the Matrix, this might actually be the noodle place that Neo mentioned.
I used to eat there. Really good noodles.
And House of Nanking does have good noodles. Next time I eat them, I'm gonna be like, ignorance is bliss. Here he meets Priyanka Chopra's character, who again might be the older Sati and the new Oracle of the 7th Matrix, and a great slick of Jefferson Airplane sings, "Go ask Alice," right as Priyanka closes the book of Alice in Wonderland. Now in the next shot behind Neo at that mirror is a shot of Keanu from the unplugging scene in the first film. It's right before he looks over at the broken mirror in that scene. Now this looks to be set in some kind of old-timey cinema that we actually see later in the trailer, projecting the shot from the first film when the mirror goo creeps up Keanu's neck. Now again, this could be a simulation where Matrix movies exist as pop culture in this world, or maybe we're seeing a hacker group have access to these secret reels showing a parallel reality, like the alt-reality reels in Man in the High Castle. Great show, you should check it out. And then notice how the technical interface in front of that screen in the cinema looks a lot like the setup they had when they unplugged Neo from the Matrix. That could be what's happening here, because we see now these film projector beams behind Yaya's character as he offers Neo a red pill or a blue pill. He's wearing the red shirt, I assume he wants him to take the red pill. And Neo having to take endless numbers of the blue one every day, yeah, he's gonna want the red pill. Now, when we last saw Morpheus in the trilogy, he was in the real world after the machine's retreat from the Battle of Zion, asking,
Is this real?
Now, assuming Morpheus remains free, others may have rebooted Morpheus's younger coding, hoping Neo might recognize it. There is a shot in the website teaser showing Yaya's character's body being formed together in a blue chamber, so he could be a false reboot of Morpheus being created by the machines. Neo then sees a white rabbit tattoo on the arm of Jessica Henwick's character, like the one on DeJour's arm. She opens his rooftop door with this bright light, actually having an excuse to put on sunglasses at night. That's new for this series. Now, this impossible door recalls the Keymaker from Reloaded. And notice all that random flooding on the rooftop. This door might open up to somewhere wet. But we know it's a different scene than Henwick and Neo stepping in through the mirror, because Neo is now wearing different clothes. Neo and Trinity hold hands again as green code rains down her face. This might be another dream vision. It might actually be how Neo recognizes Trinity in the coffee shop later. Also, in this garage is Trinity's motorcycle from Matrix Reloaded. Neo and Yaya's character spar in a place similar to the dojo from The Construct in the first film.
You don't know me. No?
Damn! I love how Neo clearly doesn't physically touch Yaya here. It's really his telekinetic impact blast that blows a place apart. Then on the This Christmas title, green lines of code stream down and up. Maybe a way of showing how this 7th Matrix runs on two sources of coding. The source from the architect, but also its embedded anomalies, Neo and Trinity. They just don't know yet how much control they have over it. Then we see the desert of the real, the columns of human pods as harvesting machines snake more pods down their tubes. You also see a swarm of sentinels weaving past. Then you see a human hovercraft exploring what could be the ruins of a human city. I thought at first this could be Zion, but there is light coming in, meaning this actually must be closer to the surface. Remember, Trinity briefly saw the Earth's beautiful atmosphere above the clouds and revolutions, but otherwise the surface was still cast in shadow. But maybe now the machines have been working to repair the Earth's ecosystem as part of this truce. And as part of this truce, humans might be allowed to come nearer to the surface. Then we see Neo and Trinity on a rooftop. A later shot shows Neo redirecting a missile into another helicopter helicopter, causing it to crash into this rooftop. And I love how it causes the side of the building to undulate, just like the building glass did in the first film, and the helicopter crashed into it. Henwick flees SWAT officers by doing this acrobatic leap onto a lower ledge, smashing it, similar to the way Morpheus smashed the scaffolding as he stuck his landing from his big jump. Then a cop gets overtaken by an agent. Actually, we learn Daniel Bernhardt is actually confirmed to return to Resurrections as Agent Johnson from Matrix Reloaded. Neo faces this gun pointed at his face by someone who's out of focus, not sure who it is, but water is sprinkling from overhead, and notice how Neo is rubbing his fingers like he is seeing this rain as code. This stressful moment could be actually what triggers his reawakening and his ability to see the Matrix code. Then back to the cinema, where the projector screen is showing Neo's unplugging moment in the 1999 film on a torn projector screen as the SWAT officer fires an RPG through it, and the target is through this door behind the screen, another impossible door because it opens up from a cabin on a Japanese bullet train. Henwick's character, Neo, Yaya, and another flee up the aisle as the other guy ducks and the rocket explodes, rocking the train car as it's speeding up past Japanese cherry blossom trees toward Mount Fuji. Then Neo and Yaya face an explosive shootout in this office. This might be Neo's workspace from that elevator shot earlier, and on the wall there's a sign labeling it Deus Ex Machina. It's a term from ancient Greek theater translating to God from the machine, in which actors playing Greek gods would be lowered in via mechanized crane to rescue characters from their earthbound crises. And today it's a term used really to refer to divine intervention in stories. But in Matrix Revolutions, Deus Ex Machina was the name given to the central interface in Machine City, whom Neo formed that truce with. And now Deus Ex Machina could be the name of the production company or game developer where Thomas Anderson works, crafting his dreams of his past lives into consumable media, which would be another ironic reflection of the machina that put Neo in this simulation. Then this very interesting shot of Trinity in a kind of machine goo pod, but beneath the head jack used normally to plug humans into the simulation, there is a secondary jack at the base of her neck with a blue tube feeding into it. We actually saw this second jack in close-up in the website teaser. The Matrix might now need this stronger hard line to bypass whatever hold the anomalies have over the system. And in the Matrix, it could take the form of Neil Patrick Harris's therapist character, who pumps them full of blue pills. Now, a big reason I think Trinity is part of Neo's anomaly is she has some extraordinary powers as well, even more than she did in the previous films. She releases a freaking shockwave when she hits soldiers, and then she has this moment where she screams, splitting herself into a spectrum. These split forms do not all look like Trinity. In fact, the one on the far right looks a bit like Christina Ricci. She is playing some role in this film, and she might be the variant Trinity who restaged the Matrix 1 scene. I'll just say, this is interesting imagery for a character named Trinity, her name referring to the Christian concept of one God in 3 persons. Yaya touches a mirror that turns into fluid. This could be part of his unplugging moment, since the mirror responded like this for Neo when he was getting unplugged. Henwick flees police and joins Yaya through this awesome impossible door, which rotates upside down in the destination hallway. Now notice, Yaya is dressed like an agent here. In fact, he has a second pair of sunglasses over his pinch sunglasses. Yaya might be under some kind of weird program that cloaks him as an agent. Then this shot where someone crashes through a window, followed by a second person a few floors below, but then we cut from below to see Yaya and Henwick falling. But in the previous shot, those were very different people. One person was barefoot. So whatever's going on here, Yaya and Henwick now crash through a surface and plunge into a world of code. In the website teasers, Neo steps off a ledge, and then in another scene jumps off the building with Trinity. We could be seeing a kind of leap of faith to test an unfinished piece of code, a bug in the system that Rubber Ducky didn't catch. And then Neo and Trinity together blow back dozens of soldiers in that Simulate coffee shop. You can see a black and white version of the green sign that we saw earlier. This could be that close-up of the hands clasping that we saw earlier in the trailer. Then Neo stops a hail of bullets, but notice Trinity is also grabbing his arm. I think both need to be together for their full anomalistic properties to function. Then two on a motorcycle plowing through a swarm of civilians. Notice their eyes are glowing green? Might be like that guy whose eyes filled with green code earlier. Maybe the Matrix has now weaponized just average street folks as drones to try to tackle Neo. But the final shot shows Neo chatting with Jonathan Groff's character.
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
I think this this is a misdirect, and Groff's character might be the owner of the company Thomas Anderson works for, if it's a movie studio or game developer, and he's referring to Anderson going back to reboot his IP of The Matrix in this world. Like a studio head telling an actor, really, you're gonna reboot that property? Or a game developer head saying, really, you wanna do another Enter the Matrix? It's art reflecting life, reflecting art, reflecting life! A meta commentary on the very concept of reboots in general being meaningless capitalistic nostalgia machines. Because from the first act of the first Matrix film, the Wachowskis grounded this franchise in the philosophy of Jean Baudrillard's Simulacra and Simulation, the book that Neo was holding. Baudrillard explores how society is now based on simulations of real things, and how we're really just as emotionally attached to the representation of something than we are to the real thing. And I love how Neo fills this book with hacker hardware and with cash, turning Baudrillard's treatise on hollow simulations into a literal hollow simulation of something. Now, in the website teaser, Groff's mouth glues shut like Neo's mouth did in the first film when he was interrogated by Agent Smith. I wonder if Neo, who's finally trying to shut up his boss, might be able to bend reality now to make it happen. Now, this film is releasing on December 22nd, 2021. I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but 12/22/21 is a palindrome connecting back to the importance of mirrors in the series as expressions of identity. And also, thanks for picking a movie date that's gonna make us all have to work through Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. But I'm excited to see it. Hey, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow and subscribe to New Rockstars for analysis of all the movies you love, probably, but too much. Thanks for watching. Bye.